Aquarius and Gemini, hello. Welcome to an Aquarius experience. I'll be doing a connection spread for the highest good of the relationship between Aquarius and Gemini. Aquarius, you have the Five of Swords. You could currently be in a state of confusion or distress coming from your own thoughts being unclear, too many, maybe even opposing forces. Maybe you have two different thoughts that are coming at each other and kind of trying to cancel each other out. So it could be like you're having a negative thought about yourself or a positive thought at yourself, and they're just clashing like crazy right now. Or this could even be something outward in your environment. You could have family or friends or work, and there's just too much coming at you. To really be able to tell, heads from tails, up and down, black from white. You don't know what's wrong, what's right, who said what, how something has transpired, and how you've gotten to this point. So it could be people outside of you that are fighting, or it could be, I want to say, personalities inside of you that are fighting, but I don't necessarily want to say personalities and say schizophrenia, but it could be just like, could even be like your ego battling your inner child or something like that. For your challenge, you have the World. So to get this in your challenge, it seems like you're really in a place where you might have lost faith in the universe. You don't really know why this is happening, how this is happening, what you're supposed to be doing with it. So the lesson here just hasn't shown up for you. Again, confused. And it seems like you are battling things, you're not sure why. If it's some sort of completion or some kind of cycle ending, you are fighting it. Gemini, the Four of Cups. You have energy around you offering some sort of love, whether that's family, friends, but it seems like what you are truly missing is love from a certain person or a certain situation. It's hard for you to not move on, or it's hard for you to move on, and it's hard for you to think of anything other than the cup that never showed up. In your challenge, you have the Six of Cups. So Gemini, emotions is getting the best of you. I wouldn't say it's getting the best of you, because emotions are important and it's important to feel them. So I don't want to give emotions a bad rap. Even the sad emotions and the uncomfortable ones have their use. They show up for a reason. So you're having a hard time moving on from a past love, a past relationship. Maybe you're having a hard time with someone showing up from your past. Or not showing up from your past. Mutual energy. The Queen of Cups. So both of you, I feel, are keeping quiet to each other. There could have been some communication in the recent past, but now Gemini is in a state of reflection, going over what has happened in the past, what has happened in the relationship. And they're really trying their hardest to keep their emotions at bay. And as for the Aquarius, it seems like Aquarius has no idea that they feel anything at all at the moment. They're too busy. They're too busy battling it out internally, or even battling it out physically in their immediate surroundings. It could even be that they're surviving. And when you are on survival mode, it's hard to read and even feel your emotions, other than feeling like at a constant fluctuation between I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta figure this out. The bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups speaks of union or reunion. I want to say Aquarius is really trying everything that they can to not repeat a cycle with Gemini. And they're really trying hard to keep the emotions at bay. And that could be what this battle is this internal battle to just keep the emotions at bay. And Gemini, it looks like they're having no problem reliving the situation, looking back at the past, introspecting, thinking about what it is that they could have had and didn't get there. And Aquarius seems like they're just too busy thinking about what the universe is doing. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. For some reason, that's what's coming up for me on this, where I think his name is Benicio del Toro. They're driving down that road to Las Vegas, and they're in a convertible, and he kind of takes out some white substance, and it just blows away, and he's just like, did you see what God just did to me? God didn't do that. You did that to yourself. You did that. That wasn't the universe. That wasn't God. That wasn't the... I mean, essentially you are the universe, so yes. But you are doing that. Subconsciously, you're operating in such a way that you are continuing to repeat the same cycle over and over again. And you're not understanding why. Okay, yes. 3 of Cups. Underlining, underneath all of the emotions and underneath all of the confusion and all of the guilt and self-doubt, or I don't know, I feel like the Gemini is really thinking about where they went wrong. Underneath all of that, you wish that this worked out. Both of you. So Aquarius, advice for the Aquarius for this 5 of Wands. Whoa. I'm not going to do all that, but I did see an Ace of Cups. So that talks about the heart. An open heart. But it looks as though right now, both of you are closing yourself off to love. What is this? 5 of Wands. For Aquarius. Wow. The Ace of Cups showed up again. Okay. Whatever has happened, it's caused Aquarius to shut her little cup above love again. And I say her, but it could be masculine. They closed that cup off. Means they closed their heart. And so this battle that they're experiencing, it's between their ego and the portion of them that's more enlightened now, is that they know that they must reopen this cup to receive love, to have it pour out. It cannot pour out if you have it closed. So the way that Aquarius may take on a situation that is really heartfelt is they will fixate on everything else except what has closed them off in the first place. They will fixate on people around them. They will fixate on work. They will fixate on cleaning. They will fixate on battling themselves out mentally, or starting new projects, or welcoming new energies into their space, when all they really need to do is remain compassionate towards themselves, compassionate towards the Gemini, and towards the relationship. Remain compassionate. And here's this ace. Here's this cup of love that this Gemini is reminiscing of, or imagining, or feeling guilty about, or missing. And Aquarius has it. Aquarius has what Gemini is looking for. But she and Gemini, and I say she, but Aquarius and Gemini are both closing up shop. They're closing their hearts. Oh no, whatever happened with this world situation, whatever happened was just too much for either one of you, and you just closed up shop. And now Gemini's feeling regretful, and Aquarius is kind of just beating themselves up about, here we are again. But still, Aquarius, you must find a way to transcend from conflicting energies to not just keeping them at bay like you are, but harnessing the energies and then using that energy, that united energy, after you've harnessed all of them and after you've reorganized everything, you must harness it into one open cup of love, your heart chakra. And remain compassionate. First and foremost to yourself. What is this world? Four, five, six, I'm getting. That's definitely just a sign of progression. But it could be progression in the cycle, like this is the first step that happens, this is the next step that happens in the cycle. Or it could be actual progression in the form of self-enlightenment. What is this world for Aquarius? Five of Cups, Five of Wands, Five of Cups. Love that has been lost. So Gemini's got the Four of Cups. And Aquarius has the Five of Cups, again, with the progression of it. Whatever has happened, Aquarius, you feel as though you have no control over it. You are victimized by everything else. And all in all, you are pretty much projecting it into the universe that you are going to continue losing out on love. Gemini is wanting love to show up for them, and Aquarius is fixated on the love that never did show up for them, because they themselves need to show up for themselves with that cup of love. So if you're constantly feeling like love doesn't show up for you, it's because it's not. Because you're not showing up for yourself with that cup of love. Nothing else is going to be able to show up for you either. Not because it doesn't show up, but because you do not recognize it as love. Gemini. Advice for Gemini. Gemini, you have the Four of Wands, and you also have the Death card. So as advice, there's going to be a powerful stepping into another realm here, a different dimension. And this transition will definitely let go of something that wasn't working out for you onto something that will work out for you. It's a new beginning, and it will be stable and fulfilling. So moving on into a different space internally will help you transition into a different space externally. So first you must have an ego death. And at which point you will pass some sort of threshold where you can enter a different timeline, where this past love, where it once was just kind of innocent, young, and dumb, will grow and mature into something quite stable for you. I'm going to pull some more to find out what exactly this ego death is and what it could be for you. The Five of Swords. It's the fight. You're putting up a fight, and that is what needs to stop. What kind of fight is this? A fight. What kind of fight? What is it that you're fighting? Oh, too many cards. What is it that you're fighting that needs to stop? It's Gemini, you are approaching love in an immature way. Maybe fighting love. Maybe in the past you feel that you rejected love, Aquarius's love. And that is what it is that you need to stop doing and stop preventing yourself from actually no longer living in the past and graduating so that this fulfillment is in the present. Advice for Aquarius. And this is why Aquarius is made to feel that love doesn't show up. Because Aquarius, you may offer love. You may live with your heart on your sleeve. And that's why you are having self-doubt, because this is how you live. You live with an open cup of love, but it didn't work. It didn't work with this Gemini. They fight it. They fight it off. This is a lot of cards. Too many cards, but there is triumph here. There is success. There's achievement. There's coming in after a long-winded battle and coming in with pride. There's this Queen of Wands energy, which is very fiery and confident. So believing that in yourself and your own cup of love will get you to that achievement. There's going to be some communication. There's going to be some clarity. As advised, there should be some communication. But the communication has to be done with confidence and compassion. There's the Prince of Wands as well, which is really going forward with it, really believing, taking that idea and that mission, taking this clarity, this newfound clarity, and really running with it. And no longer self-doubting and battling it out within yourself. Is this right? Is this appropriate? If you are doing something out of love, not only love for yourself, let's say, it doesn't really matter what this Gemini is doing, whether they're rejecting your love or not. As long as you continue giving that love to yourself and not being fazed by somebody who rejects something from you. It's like, if somebody offers somebody some food And they know they're a good cook. They are a good cook, but yet that person says, no, I'm not hungry. They're not going to go and hide in the closet or in the pantry and cry and say, oh, but I'm such a good cook, and why wouldn't they eat my food? That is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of that person. Maybe that person already ate. Maybe that person has an allergy. Has nothing to do with you. Maybe they just don't know how to receive food from someone, because there's those types of people that feel embarrassed taking food. There's all sorts of types of people. Okay, you also have the Princess of Wands. So you have the Prince of Wands and the Princess of Wands. There's a lot of passion here. And you have the Queen of Wands. So yeah, you just really, Aquarius, really try to embrace that fiery energy, that firecracker energy that you can tap into, instead of taking that energy and battling it out within yourself. Harness it, like I told you, harness it, turning it into a one, congruent and clear focus and direction, and believe in yourself and believe in love. And then you also have the Eight of Wands. So walking away from the cups that have been spilled, walking away from that idea that you know what love looks like, and really coming forward and showing up for yourself in this energy that you're a great cook. You have great love to offer. And if somebody rejects that love, it has nothing to do with you and your love. It has everything to do with them and where they are at. Because it seems to me what you're dealing with is someone who has never been given the love that you have offered. And that really hurt, Aquarius. But Gemini is just now starting to realize, hey, Aquarius offered me some really good food, and it really smelled good, and I probably should have taken it, but I was too embarrassed, or I was too ashamed, or I've never known love like that, so I rejected it. Why? And they're just now asking themselves, why was I so timid at this cup? Why did I not go in for that cup? And why am I closing off to love? Why am I closed off to love? So Aquarius, you are currently feeling closed off to love because you feel rejected. You offered your love, and it was pure, and it was as authentic as you could be with it, and yet it was still rejected. And so now you're pretty much like closed off to the idea of love. And Gemini, it looks like you don't know what love is. You feel like you may have sensed it with Aquarius. You may have smelled it. You smelled the meal that Aquarius has prepared for you, but you never sat at the table and ate it and actually enjoyed it. So you rejected something you never knew what could have been, and that's why you are still thinking about it. Okay. What's to be expected in the immediate future between Aquarius and Gemini? We have the Empress. So what's to be expected? I want to say that the Aquarius is going to harness their confidence and their energy. They're going to realign with themselves. They're going to get back. They're going to recalibrate. And they are going to show up as the Empress. Again. Because the Aquarius is not defeated. She will not change who she is. And I say she because I'm an Aquarius and I visualize the Aquarius as female, but and we have an Empress here showing up and lots of princesses and queens showing up on this end. However, it could be male, could be female, but the Empress is kind of just sitting on her throne of knowing and not just acting with her confidence, but being in her confidence. That she is aligned with her true self. So Aquarius, this may have jolted you a bit and made you self-doubt and kind of speak down upon yourself for a little bit there. But it doesn't take long for you to come back around with a sense of clarity and show up for yourself. Offer yourself that cup of love that you've been offering Gemini, and really standing firm and sitting strong in that throne. And you know how to rule a kingdom. You know how to rule the kingdom within you. And you know how to rule a kingdom in your immediate surroundings and the people that you love and choose to love you and choose to be in your life. So again, in the immediate future, what else is to be expected other than Aquarius really coming through for their selves and standing in their authentic power? What's to be expected? A lot of cards, but I will take them. Transition, moving to calmer waters, or moving away from treacherous waters, definitely. Four of Pentacles is kind of a holding on energy. King of Cups, so you have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is really like the next step from the Queen. So the Queen is keeping her emotions in at bay. She's controlling her emotions, whereas the King of Cups can really use the emotions. So they're not keeping them in. They're not bottling them up. They are actually identifying the emotions and applying what they know to the situation and using their emotions in a correct manner. So a mature way. I like to think that the King of Cups is a balance of feminine and masculine energy from an emotional stance. And then you have the Star, which is also the Aquarius. So okay. Gemini seems like they could be a little younger. We have the Princess of Cups showing up, which is an emotional, immature emotions. You have the Six of Cups, which is a twin flame energy and kind of a young, naive energy as well. The Lovers, which is a Gemini energy. But then you have the Star showing up. So Gemini, if Gemini can really hone in on why it is that they are rejecting love from the Aquarius and stop the rejection of some quality love, then Aquarius, when they are in their Empress version and really confident with themselves, that offer of love it's not going to be offered again. It just was never like taken off of the table. So it's still there. Aquarius still has that emotional cup of love on the table for Gemini. And it looks like this relationship is safeguarded. They're pretty entangled, the two of these, Aquarius and Gemini. And once they get through the motions of things, once the Aquarius has gotten through the rejection, but still found it within themselves to be able to offer themselves that same cup of love and stand firm in that, and not think so much of the cups that were rejected, and Gemini can find a way to work through the immature emotions and really tap into a new self of, I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm just not going to reject love when it presents itself. Then there is hope and a wish come true here for the both of you. Okay, if you've made it this far, I hope you've gotten something from this. Until next time, thank you.